Okay, we are talking about chapter 16 of Ninja Selling. This is a favorite
Mm,
of mine and partly a favorite because I use Ford all the time. I use Ford
mhm,
when I am at a soccer game. I use Ford whenever I meet somebody
mhm,
new. Ford is a great thing. So, chapter 16 is all about the Ford questions and it's about connecting with people. I always like to add kind of like a subtitle to every chapter as a way of just kind of, maybe reframing it. But so I have this one, I'm going to call it How to Build Relationships Without Feeling Salesy. And that's a recurring theme that we see from Kendrick over and over again is that we're not selling anybody. We're bringing value. We're solving problems. We're not selling. So this chapter gives us a really good framework. These are the mechanisms. This is a framework that we can actually build a meaningful conversation in a natural way that doesn't feel forced. I'm coaching an agent out in New Jersey right now, and well, I'll say it like this, her broker loves scripts. He's all about script, 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 and it's really not
mm,
natural for her. She doesn't like it. She feels like it doesn't work. And to my response to that was, well,
mhm,
it doesn't. And instead of having a script, have a conversation. And Ford is a great way to do that. And I
mm,
actually taught her Ford just yesterday whenever we spoke, and we chatted more about it. Uh, Shameless plug, by the way, ASR has a 2 hour CE class on Ford called Mastering Client Conversations. We will probably be adding that into the rotation soon. It is a great class. Just like our other classes, we teach Ford and then we do Ford. We have rehearsals, and that's the best way to do these things
mm,
is to actually rehearse it, to go through it, to, feel, a little bit of discomfort in that place, but then in time you feel very comfortable as you move through this progression. So Ford stands for family or friends, even family, friends, occupation,
mhm,
recreation, and dreams. It's not a script. It's not a script. It's
mhm,
a system for building rapport, for understanding people, for discovering life changes, and also just identifying motivation and those pain and pleasure points. I had a guy the other day that I took to lunch, and I didn't know this guy very well. He had some questions about real estate. He's considering getting licensed. And we had a 2 hour lunch, and I didn't make it through with him, and he was just talking, talking, talking for 2 hours. And all I did was
mhm,
ask him a couple of family questions and some occupation questions. We never even got to recreation and dreams. We would have been there all day, and there's nothing
mm,
wrong with that. What that shows is that we had a lot more that we
mm,
could have unpacked. We could have talked all day, but
mhm.
he could have talked all day because I did most of the listening as you're
Yeah.
supposed to with Ford. Why does it work? Why does Ford work? People love talking about them and their life, their family,
Mhm,
their work, what it is that they enjoy, what they hope for. Uh, I, whenever
mhm,
I heard you, whenever you were preparing to move several times, you talked about, hey, I'm moving. You were excited to move. You were ready to get out of where you were and into something else. And so you
mhm.
wanted people to know about that. You were excited about it, right? Our
Mhm.
own journeys are typically more
Yes.
exciting than hearing about other people's journeys. Let's be real, unless they just have an incredible
Yeah.
life. But also a really key point here about why Ford works is that people really feel connected to people who are
Yeah.
genuinely interested in them. And
Yeah.
we show that interest by asking those pointed questions about areas of their life that are important to them: family, occupation, recreation,
Mhm,
and dreams. So what type of questions, and I get this all the time, like, okay, cool, Jeremy, Ford, family, occupation, recreation, dreams. What questions do I ask? Well, Kendrick even broke that down. Hey, some examples of it. Where are you originally from? How's the family? Now you got to be careful here, because if they don't have family, or they're like, I don't have
Yeah.
any. But if you pick up on one little piece, especially if
Mhm,
you have any kind of history with them whatsoever, uh,
mhm,
hey, is your daughter still doing gymnastics or whatever it may be, you know?
Yeah.
But there's nothing, the one that everybody is originally from somewhere.
Right.
That's a very safe way to start.
Mm-hmm.
Occupation. What do you do during the day? How's work been lately? How's business?
Mm-hmm.
And, and well, I'll come to that part later. I was going to talk about how you move on from there, but I'm going to stay kind of on the surface now with the actual big categories.
Mm-hmm.
The cool thing about especially occupation is that their career and the work that they do, their business, this is oftentimes going to directly connect
Mm-hmm.
to stress, maybe growth, perhaps a relocation, financial changes, future plans. Oh, I'm working on a promotion, or
Mm-hmm.
who knows what, you know, or maybe they got laid off. That's a pain point, you know. Well, I used to do this, whatever it may be. Recreation. I feel like this is the area that is kind of underrated for people that dive into Ford because it really reveals lifestyle, their priorities, their personality too, and their
Yeah.
emotional drivers. Like this man, like the emotional drivers. These are really important things. And you can just simply ask, "Hey, what do you do for fun?" And you learn about different. Oh, do you have any trips coming up? If you know that they are actually into certain things, did you make it to the game this weekend, or did you make it to, I don't know, whatever they do, um,
Mm-hmm.
skydiving, or by the way, skydiving is a really good time. You should go skydiving.
Oh my
I do
gosh. I don't know
bungee.
about that. I'm afraid of heights. So I don't know if I could do that. You already know I'm afraid of heights. Going
Well, the
over them
cool thing
bridges
about
and
that is you
stuff.
get to the ground pretty quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. Oof.
I didn't know you were afraid of heights.
Yeah. Remember I was telling you about the bridge when we went to go pick up my Jeep?
Oh, that's right.
Okay, I just now got used to driving over that bridge coming from Salado. Um,
hmm
I just got used to that
What are
bridge.
you talking about? Over the Lampasas River? Is that what you're talking about? The one on the
No,
south
not that
side?
one. I'm cool on that one. I'm
Uh-huh.
a little nervous, but it's not as nerve wracking. It's when you go the highway, when you go the what is it? The what is the highway called
On
again?
35?
Yeah, 35. You go around. Well, you come around. Coming from Salado, you go around that bridge, and then you go to Clean. It's
Trying
the
to.
highway way.
Oh, that little thing.
That ain't little. I used to go over that 40, and people behind me used to be so mad, but it's just like I had nothing I could
You're
do.
over there causing chaos.
Now I can go 50
We'll never go over the Mississippi River then, because that is
long.
that's kind of a big one.
Ooh,
Uh,
it's crazy because you told me that.
I made a couple of trips across that river, and one of them was in a 26-foot U-Haul pulling my vehicle on a trailer. So that was a lot.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Oh my God, that is nerve wracking.
yeah. So
I
well,
don't know if I can
okay.
make that.
Afraid of heights. So yeah, so going back, because all this started because we talked about
Recreation.
skydiving, right? Yeah, recreation and
Yeah.
skydiving. But yeah, absolutely explore recreation. That's a fun one, and
Hmm.
it's a way that you can really kind of like tap down because a lot of times I've seen people move for recreation. Oh, we like to hike, so we bought this house here, you know, or
Yeah.
whatever it may. It's happened. I've seen people
Hmm.
do it. They want to be connected to the places and the things
Hmm.
that I love to do. I know a guy that bought a house near the stadium down in Austin because they are a
Hmm.
huge fan of the Austin Football Club, the Austin FC. And they love going to the games, and they wanted to just walk across
Hmm.
the street, you know, um, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Dreams, the last category. This is where things get
Yeah.
a little bit deeper,
Yeah.
and this is if you make it where somebody's telling you about their dreams, like
Hmm.
you're in there. That's
Yeah.
why that's also why I believe it's intentionally last because you
Hmm.
know you move through a lot of the safe things, and dreams is absolutely kind of a vulnerable
Hmm.
place, but it really truly does open up a conversation about their future goals, their aspirations,
Hmm.
their transition, what it is, they're, as they're moving from one, maybe phase of their life, and they have dreams to move, live a different kind of life or whatever it may be. And don't just come out and say, "Hey, what are your dreams?" Like, you want to ask future oriented questions.
Mm-hmm.
What's next for you guys?
Yeah.
You know, any trips planned, and then you start to dig into, more
Mm-hmm.
about what it is that they enjoy. But dreams is a big one for sure. The
Yeah.
cool thing about Ford, and I think that Kendrick talked about this. Let me pull the text up here, because who was it? Okay, Peter. The next question being embedded in their answer, because he says that a lot of times student will ask him, okay, like, that's after I asked them where they're from or where they're kids, where do I go? He kind of said, okay, I'm a one and done. And Kendrick talks about how this friend of his, Peter, makes it clear that, hey, your next question is embedded in their answer.
Mm-hmm.
And so he gave kind of like a little bit of I don't know, how to, a dialogue, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
is okay. So, hey, where are you from originally? Oh no, I'm not from Colorado, but I grew up in Nebraska and I went to this university. Oh, I got friends that went to school there. When were you there? So,
Mm-hmm.
you piggyback off of that,
Yeah.
and then now they can talk about mutual friends. He
Mm-hmm.
talks about, what you majored in football games. Oh, and then we go, okay, what brought you to Colorado? Oh, I
Mm-hmm.
was here with this company. Oh, that's a great place. How long have you been with them? How's business? See how we're moving right through
Yeah.
all of these things. But the key, though, here is to really, really, truly be present and listen for that change. You need to, and I
Yeah.
think Kendrick even talks about this, that we can hear much faster, we can understand cognitively much easier, and people can only speak so many words a minute, but we can hear at a much faster rate. So our
Mm-hmm.
brain has the capacity to process much more information. So if we're only operating at 40% of our brain's bandwidth, well, what we tend to do is we tend to start trying to fill that other 60%, so we start zoning off and we start thinking about other things. And
Mm-hmm.
so Kendrick makes it a point, like, no, you need to be locked in, you need to be
Yep.
intentional, you need to be present, and
Mm-hmm.
and really pay attention there, because you don't want to fake listen, you don't want to wait to talk, you don't want to
Mm-hmm.
be thinking about your next question, you want to really truly listen to what they say.
Listen.
When you hear it, you're gonna be like, oh, I want to know more about that.
Mm-hmm.
You're making conversation for sure, but you're also listening for the pain, the pleasure, the transition, those life changes.
Mm-hmm.
And these are big, and this is where you're starting to bring value to people, because remember, we're no longer selling, we're solving. And
Yes.
if we're and Greg talks about this all the time, find the need, feel the need, find the need, feel the
Mm-hmm.
need. And whenever you start hearing about these pain points, divorce, a job loss, maybe aging parents, a long commute, whatever it may be, therein lies an opportunity for you to provide value. There's also pleasure, of
Yes.
course, as well, and listen for that. Those are the fun ones, right? Those are the ones,
Mm-hmm.
whenever somebody has a baby or they're getting married, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever it may be, they got a promotion. These are the
Yeah.
fun ones. But it's still your opportunity to bring value, to help them realize that dream,
Mm-hmm.
help them realize that ambition that they were looking for. So listen for that change. And I love that Kendrick quoted Sun Tzu. Are you familiar with Sun Tzu in The Art of War?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, read Sun Tzu. Read Sun Tzu, The Art of War.
Okay.
It's look, you got another book recommendation from me.
I know, right?
That's
Yes.
all you get are book recommendations from me. I feel like sometimes I am so sorry. We just keep
But
stacking
I love it
books.
though. I love it.
I'm a huge fan of Sun Tzu, and maybe kind of just quickly, because I love Sun Tzu, I want to quote this from the text.
Mm-hmm.
It does not take sharp eyes to see the sun and the moon, nor does it take sharp ears to hear the thunderclap. Wisdom is not obvious. You must see the subtle and notice the hidden to be victorious. Business is a battlefield.
Yeah.
business is a battlefield. Now, that doesn't mean that you need to treat it like a zero-sum game and try to kill people out there in that space. But you do need to understand, how to see through
Mm-hmm.
all the surface stuff and see what's really going on underneath the surface if you want to
Yep.
bring value and if you want to be victorious, as Sun Tzu says, in this profession. And that comes from listening for that change and really
Mm-hmm.
truly being present and detecting, if you
Mm-hmm.
will, what those pain and those pleasure points are. So,
Yep.
and this is at its ninja selling at its core. It's relationship centered. It's about being curious. It's about being inquisitive,
Yep.
and it's it's consultative rather than like being giving a pitch. Um, questions on Ford.
Mm-mm.
Have you ever heard of this method before?
I read the book. I read the book.
Before the book, I'm glad. Have you ever before you read?
No. Mm-mm. No.
So how did
Um,
Ford from
but it
Canada,
was
from ninja selling?
it's a really good way because if you're like me, I was kind of like an introvert, stayed in the house. I really didn't, work from home. I didn't really go out and stuff. So, that's a good way to, start conversations, start those
Mhm.
open-ended questions, open-ended conversations, just to start. So I really liked it that because it's been a while since I talked to somebody face to face, and you just get nervous, anxiety. So when you got that system, you can just follow that and you'll be okay.
You've been using Ford?
I have. Mhm. I
Oh,
have, yeah. Because when I don't think in that now, I just sit up here, oh, well, where you from? You're here for the military, just
mhm.
I try to dig, and it does take some time to actually kind of build that up, to have those conversations. It does take that time, but that system definitely helps. It definitely helps.
Mhm. It's great for those spaces, especially, if you go to like a chamber event or a mixer or
Mm-hmm.
something. A lot of times you're surrounded by people you have no idea who they are.
Yep.
And and if you don't have a framework for conversation, you're just gonna
Mm-hmm.
stand there and be like,
Yep.
ooh, I love Mozart. Like you have nothing to talk
I
about
was
because you don't
there.
know how to ask the right questions.
Yep. I was
Um,
there. Oh my gosh. I was there.
Well, and this is why agents pitch because they
Mm-hmm.
don't know how to ask these questions. And this is why agents try to sell and they ask
Yep.
those silly clown questions like, are you
Mm-hmm.
looking to buy or sell anytime soon?
Yeah.
Instead
Mm-hmm.
of just truly understanding the person first.
Mm-hmm. How can
People
you
don't want
bring
to
the
feel like they're
value?
hunted. It goes back to the pursuer idea, that if somebody's feeling chased, they're just going to run away from you. They want to feel understood. They want to feel
Yeah.
connected. They want to feel comfortable.
Not uninterested.
Right, right. So you've
Mm-hmm.
been using Ford. Is there a certain category that you yourself have found that people really respond to?
Like family,
Mhm.
and I just got through the F and the O. I haven't got through the R and the D just yet, but more like family and occupation. Because this is a military town, so a lot of people like, oh, I come from here and there,
Right.
and then you ask them questions. Oh, well, how was it out there? How was the weather? Do y'all get snow and just things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the cool thing about where we are is that people come
Hmm.
here from literally all
Yeah.
over. So everybody's bringing a story with them here, and
Hmm.
there's really an opportunity to learn more about them, their story, where they're from,
Hmm.
etc. Uh,
And then we
and
do talk about kind of real estate. I do kind of bring real estate in because I talk about the different markets and the different areas.
that's a cool way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I kind of do.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and you can just ask the question like, "Hey, I got a question, curious." And I always start with, "I'm curious." Hey, I'm curious about
Hmm.
what it's like up there. Are houses, selling quickly or are they taking a while? Whatever,
Hmm.
uh, you know. But curious is a good way to use it. Is a good way to frame it, rather. Excuse me. I don't think anybody has ever been mad at me for being curious, and a lot of times I will, when I am going to ask a question, even with my wife, that it might be like a tense question or a difficult question that could create some conflict or some tension or whatever. It's like, well, hey, help me understand. I'm just curious.
Hmm.
That preface, that intro into a difficult question can really help soften the landing of things that might otherwise feel a little bit intrusive or
Mhm.
create some friction or some pain points. Do you have a certain category that maybe you struggle asking about?
Mm, no, not really. What I feel like I struggle with is, the being antisocial for so long, the social anxiety, because I'm a free flowy person, I'm a very open person. So when I ask questions or talk or sometimes, I just, it just comes, out. So it's just
I don't know how you can claim you're antisocial. I don't see it. Like,
And there's a lot of people say that. I'm just like, dang, like obviously, well now it's different, because I've been definitely working in it. It's been months now, so
mhm.
it's definitely better. But don't let me walk into a new room and I don't know nobody. And I'm like, oh, I don't know what to do. I freeze.
Well,
But
so but now you have a tool. You have a strategy for that. So
yes.
uh, I saw somebody else somewhere was doing a Ford class, and
Mm-hmm.
I thought about going to it because Ford's a wonderful
Mm-hmm.
way to just you can build so much around Ford. Like I said, I had
Yeah.
lunch for 2 hours with a guy, and I got halfway through Ford, and and that was just family and occupation. So if we had dove into recreation, we might have been there for another 2 hours just in
Yep.
recreation alone because people love, that opens up that's the fun part, you
Mm-hmm.
know. For me, I always struggle with dreams and maybe
Mm,
kind of getting, I guess, people to tell me that
yeah.
part, which you would think I would have enough material having gone through family, occupation, and recreation, but
Mhm.
I always, and that's just the thing, I just need to continue to work on it,
Yeah.
where I try to kind of tie it back. I try hard to tie it back to family, for example, and say, well,
Hmm.
you guys plan on having any more kids? Now that opens up dreams, of course, that
Yeah.
family's connected to dreams, or uh, you know, with occupation, if you're talking to maybe even another real estate professional, you say, well, have you ever thought about being a broker owner? So you can kind of like tie
Hmm.
it to, and I try to do that, but that part, although, maybe somebody else would say, oh, you're so good at it, Jeremy. I feel like it's not natural to me. I feel like it doesn't flow because, and I think part of it is because my memory, as they're talking, I'm trying to file away what it is that they're telling me,
Yeah.
and I'm just trying to remember. And a lot of times, it's hard for me to do the memory recall
Yeah.
to connect dreams back to, oh God, what did they say about this? And that's
Hmm.
kind of a failure on my part. I guess I need to learn. Maybe I need to do some memory exercises or something to try to do some short-term memory recall.
That's what I need to work on that too. I'm glad you brought that up. I need to work on that too. Um, that's everything that you just said, like kind of remembering going back and stuff. I have a problem with that too.
Yeah.
I really do.
I really try to like. I'm like, okay, their son's name is Jermone, their son's, or whatever it may be.
Hmm. Oh my gosh.
I got, but now whenever I teach Ford, I have a book that I give to all of the students, and it's I call it Ford and Record, and a lot of
Mm,
times I even have a Ford and Record little notes in my phone. But I'm a huge fan of Ford and Record, and whether it's pulling
mm,
up your CRM and putting it, put in their information, that's what I tend to do as well. So I've got like a, I don't know, like a dossier on everybody, you know. That way, whenever I call them
organized.
I call them at a later time, I can say, "Oh, is Cindy still playing the flute or whatever it may be?" And it helps me whenever you have conversations with literally dozens of new people every
Mm-hmm.
single day, and every one of them has very detailed nuances with their life. Forward and record
Yes.
is a very powerful way to do that, and that's
I
not in
like
the
that.
text. I wish that Kindle had put that in there. That's kind of,
Hmm.
I can't say it's fully mine. Brittany and I came up with that concept of forward and record, or maybe
I
she
like
heard it
that
somewhere and stole
though.
it from them. But yeah, absolutely, forward and record. It's a really good way because you're going to forget. I promise
Hmm.
you. Don't trust your memory.
Yeah.
I'll remember it as the greatest lie I have ever told myself.
Yep.
So use that method. Any other questions before we kind of wrap this up and end this? Any other questions on the Ford method?
Nope. I like that forward and record. I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Ford and record that and put it in your
Definitely
phone there.
let us know when you're having that training. Let us know.
I'm actually working on, we will have it in person, but I'm working also on putting it on a platform and I'm filming a lot of content right now. And that
Okay.
way it will be kind of like an on-demand type thing where you can watch it at 2 a.m. in your underwear if you want to, with
I
your
like that. Yes.
That'll come though. I'm trying to get a lot of that done, but that'll come in time. Anyways, all right. Well, we'll go ahead and wrap this up here. We'll stop our recording.